What's going on, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Celly here, presented by PointsBet, live on our FTN Network YouTube page. Chris Meaney hanging out with you solo here today. Missing my guy, EY. He's going to be away for the next couple of episodes. We do have somebody lined up on Tuesday, but I'm going to ride here solo with you guys. And on Tuesday, we'll be able to recap all the madness in the NHL. The deadline, believe it or not, for trades is tomorrow. It felt like yesterday. A lot of trades in the NHL. We'll walk through some of them as we recap some of the games here today. We have a busy 12-game slate in the NHL as per usual on this Thursday. Not going to lie, I was up all night dreaming about Upper Deck Series 2 cards. Bedsy. Want one. I watched a few breaks last night on TikTok. I was watching some live. I thought it was pretty entertaining. I saw a few Connor Bedard Young Guns, not the 1-of-1, but I did see the rookie card that everybody's after get broke open a couple times. And I did talk about it on this show. I had some people reach out. I have a couple hobby boxes. I'm going to break them open probably next week on this show. We'll wait a few episodes. I want to have Eric with me, and we'll do it. We'll have some fun. We'll see what we can get out of it. But I know they were super hot yesterday, and a lot of the streams that I came across. Once you watch one, I'm not a big TikTok guy, but once you watch one, it's like the algorithm just kind of takes you through a ton of other ones, and I enjoyed it. I was sat back and watched a few last night. All right, 12 games on the ice. Craziness in the NHL yesterday, as I said, with some trades. So things are gonna be a little bit different, maybe more fast paced here. I'll call some goal scorers. We'll recap at the very end with some picks and some props, but it's a pretty juicy slate. There's a lot of appealing props out there. We'll have the article live over at ftnbets.com a little bit later on today. Free article with about 3 or 4 of my top plays and then a couple bonus plays. And last Tuesday went pretty well. I think we went 3 for 4. We did not get Dylan Guenther. He let us down. Did not realize that Clayton Keller was coming back. I still was fine with the pick. But the ice time comes down a little bit, but he was still on that top power play. Arizona is in action tonight against Minnesota. We did have Leon Draisaitl for 2 points at plus 175. We're going to give him a little bit of love again today. We had Wyatt Johnson. How about Wyatt Johnson and Logan Stankoven? We just continue to talk those guys up. Make sure they're owned in your fantasy hockey leagues as you get down to the nitty gritty. I suppose there's like 3 weeks left in your standard head-to-head format. If you're playing over at Yahoo or ESPN, you were going to want to have a piece of those two guys, Wyatt Johnson and Logan Stankoven. I mean, those guys are just feeling it. Then Cole Caulfield. So it was a decent day. We also had a 20-1 same game parlay with the Nashville Predators first line to have 2 points. So we'll try to have a couple winners here for you again today. As you can see, massive slate. I want to say what up to the crew as you normally do here on this show, and then we're going to get right after it. I already have some bets in our FTN Discord as well. And this is the time to join if you want to. FTN Hoops, 35% off at FTN Bets and FTNDaily.com. Daily.com, we're giving NHL DFS articles every single day throughout the playoffs. We will. We have some prize picks plays, underdog plays, some goal scorers in there as well. Our core, the line stacks that we like. In the NHL, of course, you're going to get all my picks. Berg, Adam Rosenberg, Kenneth Lee. And then picks from everybody across all sports. Basketball, March Madness is in a couple weeks here. The guys got over, like 3 or 4 guys got like 300 units combined. Kutry and Walter Riddell and Gross and our guy Randall. And baseball's around the corner too. I see the guys are giving some MLB picks on spring training. It's not for me. We'll have some MLB picks all year long, but spring training, I kind of take a little bit of a step back. But Dream is killing it as he always does. Shemansky's in the house. Welcome in. Really excited about this slate. Evan crushed the Avs puck line last night. It's almost become a lock to bet McKinnon 2 points. Yeah, we had McKinnon in the tracker last night, 2 points and for 5 shots. And I said to the guys last night, it's almost worth a little bit of a sprinkle for McKinnon 3 or 4 points when he plays at home. This is what he's doing, right? McKinnon, Akil McCarr hat trick, Rantanen 4 assists, Lehkonen got on the board. Like those are the 4 guys. It's a little bit juicy with those 4, but you can get Rantanen plus money for points. For 2 points, you get Cale Makar and certainly Nathan McKinnon. Yeah, absolutely. 1.5. It's the same deal here when we get into Draisaitl and McDavid. These guys are just feeling it at the moment. Really like some teams in 60 here tonight. LA minus 120 against the Ottawa Senators. What a brutal performance from them last night. I mean, the Ducks had so many guys out of their lineup. Henrique traded, Terry didn't play, McTavish didn't play, and still Ottawa couldn't find a way to win that game. Like, just so brutal, the Senators. The Wild at plus 110 to win in 60, even like the Blues to upset New Jersey here tonight. Running to the store quickly, grab some formula for my daughter. Might be a little bit, but I'll be here. We do respect that. Also, the Panthers Cup futures looking tastier by the day. What a great call. I think we're all in on the Panthers here on this show. We like the addition of, I don't even think that Vladimir Tarasenko has a ton to offer at this point of his career. He's looked pretty underwhelming. I know he had some okay moments. Him and Patrick Kane were probably the best Rangers in that opening round last year against the Devils, but they got bounced. But for Tarasenko, he doesn't have to be spectacular, right? You put him on the first line if you want to with Barkov and with Reinhart. You take Verhaeghe off of it, or you leave Verhaeghe on that top line. Then you put Tarasenko on the second line with Bennett and with Matthew Tkachuk. You take Nick Cousins out of the top six, and we scored a couple goals the other day. Big deal. You take him out of the top six. You put him and Evan Rodriguez in your bottom six. All of a sudden, you just got three lines that can come at you in waves, four lines most likely, and they're probably not done. They're going to add a body or two. So, we really like Florida where they're at. They've been the best team in the NHL since I think this point last year. They needed to win almost every game to get into the playoffs. They did. They went to the finals. They lost, dealt with some injuries, started the season with some injuries. That's why we were cautious with the futures to start the year without Montour, without Ekblad, without Bennett. Then they get those guys back and they're rolling. I believe we have 8-1. We're big fans of the Panthers here, so we're kind of all in. Daily Handle, good morning, everybody. Welcome in, dude. Kane hurt me by not getting a point. That was last night. Patrick Kane didn't get a point for you. He's been pretty consistent, Nick, but last night, not so much. Okay, well, let's get you a point tonight. Let's start here. I'm going to jump around again. There's a lot of games. I want to give some winners. I want to start strong here with some plays that I really do like. So I'm going to immediately start with the Edmonton Oilers here. At the 7-minute mark, we're going to go with Edmonton and Columbus. This game happening in Columbus. And as you see on the board, some odds have changed. We got the prop shop and the parlay calculator over at ftmbets.com. 2 links inside the description of this video. If you are watching, if you're listening on iTunes and Spotify, we always appreciate you guys. Rate, review, subscribe. But you can hop on over to our YouTube page, ask a question anytime. If it's live, post-show, I will always circle back on these videos and address them. Maybe you have a tough start or sit question today on what is a busy slate in the NHL. I'm around for those questions, and I love getting them. So at Chris Meaney, slide in the DMs or ask the question. But we have the board here up, and it shows the odds. I'm just going to give you the latest here. And Edmonton, if you want to back them, I mean, this is a number that we can't really get behind at minus 265 just on the money line. That's over at DraftKings. And Columbus, massive home dogs here at plus 220. I like the Oilers on the puck line. I just feel like Edmonton, the addition of Adam Henrique, I love for them. I don't know if he's going to suit up tonight, but it gives them a lot just deep down the middle. Over the past couple of weeks, they've been rolling with McDavid and Draisaitl on the top line. I don't think they want to do that. I think that ideally, I would say they'd like to go McDavid line 1, Draisaitl line 2, and then you got Adam Henrique line 3. Of course, there's going to be times where they load up the line when they need a goal, and it's working right now. And also something that's working right now, I do like Edmonton puck line minus 1.5 at minus 105 over at Bet Rivers. Sorry, Troy, but he knows it, right? I mean, the Blue Jackets are a mess. But two things we've been doing for a while, it's almost an automatic play for me, is Connor McDavid for 2 points. It's just like what Evan brought up with Nathan McKinnon. And it's at minus 120 at DraftKings. And it's been around minus 120, minus 115. We got it on Tuesday against the Bruins at plus 115 because it was a very tough matchup. Connor McDavid has at least 2 points in 10 of his last 12 games. Most of them have been Apple's assists, but 10 of his last 12, he's picked up 2 points. And Leon Draisaitl, who we had on Tuesday at plus 175 for 2 points, is now plus 125 at BetMGM for 2 points. These guys kind of go hand in hand, right? And one guy's getting 2 points, the other guy's getting 2 points. Power play's lethal. Matchup is much better against the Blue Jackets. Penalty kill's not great. Yeah, they get a lot of shots at home, but their defensive structure is just pathetic. And their 5-5 plays is not great either. So Draisaitl, 8 of his last 12, 2 points. McDavid, 2 points in 10 of his last 12. plus 125 for Leon Draisaitl, and minus 120 rather for Connor McDavid. Inside this same game, I really like Jack Roslovic. So I streamed Jack Roslovic last week. I think the matchups were, I'd like to stream guys. If you've been watching or taking a look at the fantasy hockey waiver wire articles at ftnfantasy.com every Sunday, I suggest players that play 4 games for the week to get the most out of your moves. But I think the best strategy, especially this time of the season in a head-to-head format, and it's a strategy you got to take in the playoffs. You got to cut guys that, even like Evgeny Malkin, we talked about him before. Malkin, good player, not doing it for me lately. And if there's players on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays on these massive slates that are not going to get into your lineup, swap them out for players that are going to play on Friday and Sunday and Wednesday. Dylan Guenther is one of those guys, right? He played tonight, but they play the Hawks on Friday. Also have a game on Sunday. Stan Koven, right? I mean, plays tomorrow, Friday, light schedule. It's nice to have some players that play on those later scheduled days. So Roslovic, I only know this because I streamed him last week and I kept him, and I didn't really want to keep him, but he just keeps doing things. So Jack Roslovic, I mean, he's playing on the top line. He's playing on the first power play. I know EY, we're giving him a bit of a hard time. Not him, but the Blue Jackets. Like, what are they doing with Roslovic on the power play? But listen, he's got 12 points in his last 11 games. 12 points in his last 11 games. He's got at least 3 shots in 7 straight games. And he has 3 shots in 9 of his last 11 games. I mean, I'm looking at the ice time, and he's getting it. Like 20-38 he played in his last game. 17, 18, 18, 17, 21. This guy's got 4 multi-point games over this run. And again, shooting the puck pretty consistently. He only got 1 power play point, but he plays in all situations. He picked up a shorthanded point the other day. So Jack Roslovic, the best number I'm seeing is over at FanDuel. Most books have him at 1.5. Bet365 had plus 165, but FanDuel is plus 185 for Jack Roslovic. So it's a little bit of a long shot bet, but we did hit a couple long shots on Tuesday. Nito Niederreiter was at a similar price, who had the 3 shots and scored a goal for us. So I like it. I know there's 12 games here and we want to try to give some winners, but that's one that I'm going to bet myself. I was just going to give these picks for the sake of giving them. So that's where I'm at for that game. Edmonton puck line, big boys, McDavid, Draisaitl 2 points. And on the other side, Jack Roslovic. I'd also say that Evan Bouchard is, I want to try to keep things a little tight here, but Evan Bouchard plus 100 for an assist is pretty decent. Plus 100 for an assist. I expect a couple power plays here today for the Oilers, and they're probably going to score in a couple of those. Minus 150 is like where I kind of draw the line for a point. If you wanted to take that instead, minus 150 for the point. But I like the assists, plus 100 for the assist, and it's over at DraftKings, plus 100, BetMGM, also plus 100. But minus 150. You can go that route if you wanted to. I was hesitant about Nyquist the other day because he was at plus 160 or minus 160 for a point against the Habs, and he had a couple. What do we got here? Honestly, think you throw Tarasenko on line 3, having those 3 lines attack you is scary. Yeah, I mean, they can. Paul Maurice does like Cousins on that second line, so I could see that. Edmonton puck line, I don't feel bad saying because Troy isn't here. Troy knows. The wheels can fall off at any time. There is Roslovic. Adam's on Roslovic as well. 7 straight, plus 185. Yeah, I'm on that one too, buddy. I think that's a pretty good one. Jack Russell has that dog in him. Go Sharks. I love it, Lee. I love it. Oh, man. I love that you check in all the time and say go Sharks. What's up with the Warriors? Tell me what's going on with the Warriors. Are going to make any noise or what? Leon has hit 3 shots in 5 straight. In consideration for me, always becomes more of a shooter when playing with McDavid. Absolutely, he does, right? McDavid doesn't shoot the puck. He likes to pass it over. Okay, we're going to continue to move along and try not to get lost here. I got only one play in the Calgary game, but let's go to the Calgary-Tampa Bay game for now. Calgary at Tampa. It's amazing to me what has happened with the Flames over the past couple of years, right? Johnny Hockey doesn't want to play there anymore, so he leaves. He signs to Columbus. Matthew Tkachuk doesn't want to play there anymore. They end up trading him. And over the past little bit, I mean, Noah Hannafin last night goes to the Vegas Golden Knights. It sounds like an extension is in the works. Man, Craig Conroy he's been in a tough spot, right? Tyler Toffoli traded. Chris Tanev traded. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Elias Lindholm traded. Who's next? Like, is Markstrom gone today or tomorrow? I feel like they did okay in these trades because everybody knew like they were going to trade them. But at the same time, I feel like they kind of, the returns are a little bit underwhelming. They have a couple late first round picks. They have like a couple 3s and 4s and 5s that I don't really feel like they're okay, right? You got to nail those. It's the success rate of nailing those. It's not the track record's not super high. It's some nice pieces, in return, like some maybe a project in Kuzmenko and certainly like Sharon Govich as a player. But I think the returns have been completely underwhelming. I thought that there'd be way more coming back to Calgary for Noah Hannafin, who's a 27-year-old top pair defenseman. And now Vegas is going to go into the playoffs, assuming they make the playoffs. So, yeah, I get it. They're in a bit of a slump, but they got Eichel back here now. Shea Theodore is back. They're going to add Noah Hannafin. Aiden Hill was hurt for a while. Like, they struggled without a lot of their key guys. I know that Alec Martinez is on IR, and so is Mark Stone. But these guys are going to be ready to go come playoff time. And say what you want about the cap. The NHL needs to figure it out. I don't know, hate the player, not the game type of deal. I hate it too. Like, listen, the Bolts won the cup back-to-back years. Like, when they beat the Habs, it was like 17 million over the cap. Vegas last year over the cap. This year they're going to be over the cap. There's going to be a ton of teams. Even Colorado. Like, Colorado adds another guy or two. Like Landeskog, if he's ready to go come playoff time, over the cap. It is what it is. But that's a great four now. I don't know if there's a better. Alec Martinez, and Alex Pietrangelo, and you got Noah Hannafin and Shea Theodore. 2 left shot defensemen. They can play on either side. I like it. I like the move. It's going to be really tough to beat Vegas again this year. As for tonight, I just got the one play. I know things are going to open up for Calgary, like Blake Coleman, fun revenge spot for Blake Coleman going back to Tampa to play his old team. Nazem Kadri's been really good. Sharon Govich is starting to pick it back up again. There's going to be some shots there. But on a 12-game slate here, I don't think we need to do anything besides take Braden Point over 2.5 shots, minus 136 at Bet Rivers. So it's my favorite play from the game. It's a decent price at Bet Rivers, and Braden Point has cleared 2.5 shots in 9 of his last 11 games. He also enters on a 9-game point streak here tonight. So is Markstrom confirmed in net? Does anybody know that? I mean, if there's no Markstrom, I'll consider like Braden Point for 2 points. Are they just going to not play Markstrom in case he suffers an injury? He's allowed 7 goals in his last 2 games. They also have Florida this weekend in Carolina. Tough little 3-game road trip there for the Calgary Flames, and they just got to feel deflated at this time because they played some decent hockey, and they've been just keep trading these players away. They've been hanging around, but don't expect them to make the playoffs. Braden Point's the only one that I like, but I will consider a 2-point night for Braden if there's no Markstrom on the slate. All right, Philadelphia and Florida. Let's talk about it. Should be a good test here for the Philadelphia Flyers. How good are they? How good are the Philadelphia Flyers? They made a move yesterday. They traded Sean Walker to Colorado. Man, what a great day yesterday. I just love trades in the NHL. So they traded Walker to Colorado, who's a nice defensive defenseman. He's going to be inside their top 4. They'll go Makar and Taves, and they'll probably go Gerard and Walker. And then they traded Bowen Byram for Casey Middlestat. Well, those are the trades that I love. It's like, bam, that's like I wouldn't call it a blockbuster, but that's like a 1-for-1. It's like good trade for both teams. Bowen Byram is a phenomenal skater. He's got a lot of upside. I thought he was phenomenal when the Avs won the Stanley Cup, especially in the finals against the Lightning. Unfortunately for him, he suffered multiple injuries. I think he's had like 3 or 4 concussions. So it's a little bit of a risky get by the Sabres, high risk, high reward, but you add him now with Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power. All of a sudden, the Sabres got something appealing on the blue line. They're selling high on Casey Middlestat. Career last year has kind of backed it up this year. Took him a little bit to get going. He was a top prospect, fairly small, needed to kind of grow into his body a bit. But the Avs needed a second line center desperately. Like, I was watching all these guys get traded, like Lindholm and Monahan and Adam Henrique, and I'm wondering what the Avs are doing. And this isn't a rental. This is like a long-term play under contract, and they just needed somebody. You saw they haven't been the same team since they lost Nazem Kadri, right? Down the middle of the ice when they won the cup, they lost Kadri. Last year with like Comfer and Newhook, they just weren't it. Ryan Johansson was not it either. So they trade Ryan Johansson. Flyers get a first out of that, taking on Johansson contract, place him on waivers. Johansson is just not the same player anymore. And there was a lot of like, if you read between the lines, there was some Avs players, speaking up. I know Taves had a bit of a rant in the dressing room talking about new guys being on the team and not playing the way that they want them to play. I think that was completely directed at guys like Ryan Johansson, maybe Jonathan Drouin, but he's a guy that certainly turned things around since those comments were made. But yeah, good deal for Colorado, good deal for Buffalo, and good on Philadelphia there to take a little bit of get the first round pick for take on a contract. I love that. Smart. So as for tonight, there are just the two plays I like at the moment. Is it confirmed? Do we have confirmation, or is Daily Faceoff just kind of speculating lines? I mean, I can speculate with them. It's kind of how I feel this will play. Verhaeghe on that top line with Barkov and Reinhart. That's how I feel. I really like when Verhaeghe's on that top line with Barkov and Reinhart too. Like Maurice shuffles those guys around, but I just feel like, again, Nick Cousins isn't a top 6 player, right? He's just not. So now you have just two legitimate lines. Even that third line, Lusterrain and Lindell and Rodriguez has got a lot to offer as well. Florida is absolutely loaded. Maybe one more guy in the blue line just for some depth. Injuries happen, and they know all about that. Having that run to the finals and dealing with some injuries. I think Barkov played on like a broken foot. So Tarasenko, I mean, I think we got to look at his props tonight, don't we? He's probably priced like he's an Ottawa Senator. He's probably near even money for a point. He's minus 105. We're going to jump on that one. Tarasenko, point, minus 105. We'll see what the lines look like. Maybe he's on that third line. Wouldn't love it. Second power play, but I got a feeling they got this guy to play inside the top 6 here tonight. Even his shot prop is 1.5 at minus 175, right? It's a little bit juice. Maybe you can put it into a parlay or something. We'll do some same game stuff when I see some confirmation on lines in the maybe it's the morning skate or maybe this evening, in pregame. We'll see what's happening there. Verhaeghe and Matthew Tkachuk, same game parlay, just those two. I never really put Bennett in there. I do like Bennett for 3 shots tonight. He's been quiet over the past couple, but he's cleared 2.5 shots in 5 of his last 7. He's minus 110. That's one of my plays here from this game. I wasn't really going to talk Tarasenko. Well, I was, but I wasn't really going to give a pick, but I really like that minus 105. Kind of like the assist too. Is plus 180 for an assist for Tarasenko. Oh man, we had to jump on this stuff now, right? Before books adjust. Bennett 2.5 shots, minus 110. So I'll probably do a Barkov and a Reinhart. Maybe I'll just take Tarasenko solo. So a Barkov, Reinhart, same game parlay, maybe around plus 100. And then Verhaeghe, Matthew Tkachuk, same game parlay. And then Tarasenko as a solo here. I got Bet365 up, so bear with me a second here. I know the Flyers are stingy at 5-5, but man, this Florida team, I think they've won. Is it 18 of 20 now? Is it 17 of 19? And the 2 losses have been by 1 goal. I mean, even the past couple games have been nearly even money. Vegas has given us a gift against the Rangers and the Devils, and they just cruised past those 2 teams. What do we got here? Oh, Tarasenko's there. So you could do, again, a Matthew Tkachuk, Carter Verhaeghe, that's plus 100. A Barkov and a Reinhart, that's minus 110, like both of those. And then you could, if you wanted to, you can get a little greedy here. You could do a Barkov, Reinhart, and Tarasenko plus 240. What if those guys have a big night, a 2-point night for those guys? 30-1. There's some great things that you could do here. I'll put a couple in the chat a little bit later on when we get confirmation for some lines there. I like the Panthers. Let's go New York Rangers. Raul's in the house. Rangers, what are they going to do? I don't think Mika Zibanejad has a 5-5 goal in feels like 5 months. They need to do something, I think. I know that they're playing really good, but they need something to replace Wheeler on that top line. Something. Rest of season, point McCann. Not sure what that means, Steve. I think ROS means rest of season, point or McCann. You asked me who I like more than the other. It's definitely Braden Point. Flyers are in great hands with new leadership and coaching. Yeah, I mean, I love Keith Jones. He gets it done. This game is going to be fun. 2 teams who give it all on absolutely every shift. Means curious your thoughts on Reinhart. He's shooting again. He's still at a good price. So I like Reinhart, but I just want to kind of see this play out tonight with the lines. Tarasenko's a shooter as well. So I'll be a little hesitant on the shot props from those guys. I like Bennett because Bennett's been shooting and his place in the lineup shouldn't change. He's not a pass first guy. He likes to shoot. And Matthew Tkachuk is a bit of a pass first guy. There's games where he could have 8 or 9 shots, but he is certainly a guy that likes to shoot or likes to pass first. The other guy I like in this game is Tippett. How can we not go to Tippett? I know it's Florida and they're stingy, But we know that the Flyers are among the leaders in shot attempts and shots, and Tippett is a big reason why. Owen Tippett tonight at plus 120 over at Bet Rivers for 4 shots. And Tippett, he's had 4+ shots in 8 of his last 11 games. He has 2 games over those 11 games with at least 10 shots on goal. So this guy's just shooting the puck like a psycho. And then you add in the fact that it's a revenge game. I mean, that's fun, right? It's his former team in Florida. Yeah, I like Owen Tippett tonight. Reinhart, again, yeah, Reinhart has been shooting. I'm just going to wait that one out, Adam. I think if there was a second Florida Panther, I would take Sam Reinhart, but I'm going to see how things play out tonight, especially with the lines and how they shape out. Okay, what's in here next? Let's do Washington and Pittsburgh. I actually don't really have a ton from this one, Washington and Pittsburgh, but I will give a little bit of love here to Ovechkin and Crosby. When these guys play, things always seem to happen between both of them. I just wanted to take a look at what Washington's doing with their line since the trade. So they still have LaPerriere up there with Protest and Ovechkin. Okay, so they've shuffled things around. Dylan Strome on the third line. I don't like that one bit. Dylan Strome on the third line with Milano. They got Connor McMichael with Tom Wilson and Max Pacioretty. I don't like what's going on here. I might have to drop Dylan Strome in a league. And he's just been so good. He wins me a bunch of faceoffs. He's basically been a point per game guy over the last, 4 to 6 weeks. All right. The only one I like in this game is Alexander Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin at plus 100 at DraftKings over 3.5 shots. For Ovechkin, we'll put him on the board. He's just been shooting again, right? He looks like his old self. 4+ shots in 5 of his last 7. He's got 15 shots over his last 3 games. He had 8 shots the other night. On the Pittsburgh side, I'm not gonna touch it. There's so much going on here. Rickard Rakell kind of checks boxes for me, but we're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on. Okay, let's go to Nashville. We're jumping around here. 26-45. EY would tell us Novak. He would probably go Tage Thompson. I'm going to keep things simple. I'm going to go Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg for over 3.5 shots. Been pretty consistent for us. He's cleared in 5 of his last 7 games. And Philip Forsberg over at DraftKings is minus 135 for 4 shots tonight. And then, as I said earlier, I was hesitant to drink the juice on Nyquist for a point. Is minus 160 today. It's only minus 135 for Nyquist to pick up a point. So I got a broken record here, but you just look at the back of the hockey card, and Gustav Nyquist has been consistently hitting the score sheet on that top power play. And a lot of his numbers are the best numbers he's had since, he was a Red Wing early on in his career. I'm talking ice time, power play time, shot attempts, shots, power play points, goals, all of the above, everything for him in this game. On the Sabres side, I'm not feeling anybody. I don't want to give picks for the sake of giving picks. Like Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch, these guys are not consistent enough. Jeff Skinner's hitting the score sheet here and there, but again, not consistent enough. I just don't feel like there's a lot of consistency in Buffalo's lineup, up and down their lineup. I'm not a big fan. So we're just going to continue on this episode, and we're going to move along. Let's go to Carolina. Got Montreal and Carolina here. There's some ones I like in this game for sure. What I said the other day about the Habs, man, like I told you guys, the Preds shouldn't be minus 220 favorites against anybody. Here they are today, roughly minus 180 against Buffalo. Carolina probably takes care of the Habs. They do have their number against Montreal. Montreal is, you guys know, well aware of the Habs and tune into all their games. And Carolina is a team that they struggle against. In Carolina is a place where they struggle to win hockey games. They are going to have Montembeault between the pipes. But what I have said is they've been hanging around. We talked about reverse puck line at minus 135, I think, on Tuesday. They came back in that game. They never had a lead once. They came back 3 times and won the game in overtime. They took Florida to a shootout. They took Tampa to a shootout the last 3 games. So they have been consistently hanging around in some of these games. I wanted to talk about Sebastian Aho. I think the last time Carolina played Montreal, I said that Sebastian Aho just owns Montreal, and he really does. And I don't think it has anything to do with the offer sheet a couple years ago. That plays into the story with the Habs sending him an offer sheet, him signing it, and Carolina matching it. yada yada. Sebastian Aho, 9 goals and 11 assists in 18 games in his career against the Habs. And what I said when they played Carolina, Montreal did earlier this year, I said that Aho owns them, and he does own them, and he had 4 assists. I'm looking at the last few games from this guy against the Habs: 4 assists, 1 goal, quiet game in Montreal. Before that, goal and assist. Before that, goal and assist. Before that, 2 assists. Before that, 2 goals, 1 assist. He just, I don't know what it is, but dude just has his way with the Habs. So I was looking at some of his props, and there's not a ton that jump out at me. Like minus 140 for an assist is not crazy appealing. 3 shots for minus 165 is not much. I think we can just take the anytime goal. Plus 130 over at BetMGM I'm seeing. I don't know why other books are not popping up for me right now at the prop shop. Maybe a little bit later on. Maybe you guys can get a better number. But Sebastian Aho is going to do something tonight against the Habs. He just always does. So I think maybe even a little bit of a stab at plus 155 for 2 points for Aho. Not too shabby. And then Svechnikov. Svechnikov is my favorite play in the game. He actually has 7 points in his last 8 games, and he's cleared 2.5 shots in 4 straight games. Svechnikov is at minus 136 over at Bet Rivers. Because it's Carolina, you are going to get a guy like Cole Caulfield at a pretty good price tonight, and it's really hard to ignore what Cole Caulfield is doing. Man, what is going on with the computer? Bear with me. Cole Caulfield, last, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of his last 10 games, he's had at least 4 shots. And he's played some tough opponents in Tampa, in Florida. A couple of, is New Jersey tough? The Rangers tough? Rangers tough opponent. At MSG had 6 shots. Ducks are not a tough opponent. He had 8 shots. You're getting plus 120 for Cole Caulfield. It just takes a power play or two, right? The top line gets so much ice time. Suzuki is playing unbelievable. Suzuki and Cole Caulfield are just getting leaned on. They're playing a lot. So a couple plays there from that game. I do like the Hurricanes. What can we get here for in 60? Can we get a decent number in 60? Again, the Habs hang around, but I just feel like with Montreal, the tracker that they have against this Carolina team in regulations minus 190, we can't do it. We can't get in on it. Okay, what do we got? A lot of stuff here. Strome under 2.5 shots, a great way to throw into a parlay. Yeah. Forsberg shots, Nyquist points. We seem to be on the same 2-point parlay. I mean, it worked out for us on Tuesday, Adam. We had 20-1 on the Preds top line for 2 points. Adam, what up, Meaney? What's going on? Sorry if I missed it, but Ryan O'Reilly likes Ryan O'Reilly here at plus 154 for 3 shots. He's got 5 and 5 in his last 2 games against Buffalo. Revenge, right? Ryan O'Reilly revenge. Oh, not bad. There it is. Yeah, ladder. Aho and Svechnikov point parlay, and ladder both own Montreal, especially at home. The minus 130 for the assist isn't too bad. I wasn't really feeling the minus 140. I'm going to take the 2-point night at plus 155. I think, laddering those two guys does make a lot of sense. You can do the 2 points. If you go Svechnikov and Aho for 2 points, it's plus 575. One thing I'll say is, again, Montembeault has been, believe it or not, when you look at goals saved above expected, he is one of the better goalies in the league this year. The Habs would be a bottom 3 team without the strong goaltending that they've gotten from him. So anyways, there's a lot there that I like on that Carolina side. New Jersey and St. Louis in here next. We are continuing to move along. We're still going pretty long in this show, but there's a lot here, guys. What do the Devils do? Do the Devils do they get a goaltender? Is Allmark available? Does Allmark get traded here at the deadline for a center? There's some rumblings. There's some rumblings, according to reports, about a 3-way deal where Elias Lindholm would be involved in the trade, which would be interesting because Vancouver just got him. I don't know if there's any Canucks fans watching or listening, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Again, at Chris Meaney, you can hop on over to the YouTube page, leave a comment in the comment section. It does feel like Lindholm isn't a good fit. Does anyone else agree? Doesn't feel like he's a good fit. And I know it's still early, but they tried him on the wing. Miller's a center. Elias Pettersson's a center. Is Lindholm going to be your third line center? Sure, maybe that's fine. And they're trying that out. But there's some talk about Gensel, Gensel going to Vancouver, Lindholm going to Boston, and Jake DeBrusk going to Pittsburgh. Obviously, there'd have to be something else going to Pittsburgh, but that was the latest I saw. I thought it was from Kevin Weeks last night. I really would think that Jake Gensel would be a much better fit on Vancouver than Elias Lindholm. You put Gensel alongside Pettersson. Whew, I'd really like the Canucks a lot better. But anyways, we're back. Got to get back to this is why the show goes so long, because I get sidetracked. Jack Hughes, ladies and gentlemen. Why not? Why not? Jack Hughes at what do we got for the price for Hughes? I think I closed down the window. I thought he was at a pretty good price here for 5 shots tonight. It's changed a lot, minus 130. So people, this is what they do. I think they wake up and they just bet Jack Hughes. I really think that is one of the first bets that sportsbooks take when the Devils are on the slate. I really do believe it because he was actually still minus 130 at Bet Rivers this morning. So that price hasn't changed a whole lot. But Jack, I mean, he's cleared in 9 of his last 13 games, and he's needed 5 in all of those games, and he's done it 9 of 13. So we'll go for Mr. Hughes. And then Timo Meier. Got Timo Meier here for a point. Again, this is almost the cutoff point for Timo. You know, the plus money days were fun. You know, we were getting them because the books didn't adjust to the promotion up on the top line. And even with Travis Green behind the bench, still seeing Timo Meier on that top line with Tyler Toffoli, who, by the way, is also maybe most likely getting traded here if the Devils just continue to lose hockey games. But he's on that top line with Toffoli and with Nico Hischier, and at minus 140 for a point. I do like that one because he has been, we talk goal scorers are streaky all the time. You get a little bit of confidence and all of a sudden you get some puck luck your way. He scored 3 straight games, right? 3 straight games, 4 of 6. He's got points in 4 straight. He's got 2 multi-point games over his last 6, and he's kind of shooting, but I just want to take the point for him. Nico Hischier is at 3.5, so I'll just bypass that one and move on. I'll do a Blues same game parlay with that top line tonight. It hasn't really been hitting, I'll be honest with you guys, but the way that the Devils have been playing defensively and the way that nobody can stop a puck in New Jersey at the moment, the goaltending is just really, really, really bad. It's been bad all year long. So if that top line stays together of Thomas, Kyrou, and Buchnevich, they're plus 200 tonight to pick up a point. 365. Meaney Shot Prop King riding solo today. I am. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out. Nate and McKinnon Ladder last night paid somebody's mortgage. Ranton, yes, absolutely. I think they combined for 17 shots last night. Okay. Moving right along. What else do we got here? I think we skipped. We could do Toronto and Boston. I actually don't have a whole lot that I like from this game. Can Toronto get revenge? I was on the Leafs and the over when these two teams played. What was it, Monday? And Boston went in there and just took it to them. So I don't know. It's a tough game to call. I would say that I would lean with the Leafs here in this spot, but I think there's just some better picks in this game. Pavel Zacha. We talked about Pavel Zacha on Tuesday. He was plus 125 to pick up a point. Bruins been shuffling their lines a little bit. When Zacha plays with Pastrnak, I pay attention. And he is scheduled to play with David Pastrnak tonight. And Pavel Zacha, not really known for his goal scoring, but he does have 3 goals over his last 2 games. And, you know, when he plays with Pasta, he gets 19 minutes roughly. And that's what I'm seeing here. In the last game, 1950, near 18 minutes against the Leafs. He had the 2 goals there. So he's plus 105 for a point tonight. Zacha, let's ride this thing out. Plus 105 for a point. And, oh, man, I was kind of thinking Jake DeBrusk. I got this DeBrusk feeling. And the chat will laugh at me. Shout out Gary. He always laughs when I say that I have a feeling about something. And it's like, I can't really back it up with any numbers, but it's just like this feeling that I have. When I watch the Bruins play, he creates chances. It's like Jake DeBrusk. I mean, he's got 3 shots in 2 of his last 3 of his last 5. He did score the other night against the Leafs. He had a goal and 2 points there. But It's a little risky and not needed, I don't think, on this 12-game slate. Austin Matthews shot prop is a little bit juiced, minus 160, but it's at 3.5. And he's plus 170 for 2 points. I think that's just like an interesting long shot play there. But I'm really just kind of in on Zaka and Pasternak. I'm going to take Pasternak. I've been kind of like, I haven't been taking him too much. And I don't know why, because he is among the leaders in shot attempts. He always is. He did add 7 against the Leafs the other night. I like him a little bit more at home than I do on the road. A couple power plays, that we can certainly get there. And he's at a pretty decent price. At minus 110 at DraftKings for 5 shots. As for the home and away stuff, he's got 50 points in 32 games at home. He's got 40 points in 32 games on the road. He's plus 23 at home. He's minus 2 on the road. I don't love to look at plus minus, but it is kind of glaring when you look at that. Also, averaging more shots per game at home and more ice time per game at home than on the road. So, you get some of those easier matchups, last change, things like that. 4.5 shots for Pasta, minus 110 over at DK. All right, what's next here? I feel like we've rolled through a lot of these games already. Minnesota and Arizona, 41-minute mark here. Minnesota and Arizona. I'm a sucker for punishment, and I like Dylan Guenther. So I'm going to do it again. It's not one of my top plays. It would be like a secondary play for me. We'll recap at the end of the show with like top plays and then maybe some secondary plays. But I still like Guenther. It's not like he was shut out in the last game and he didn't pick up a point, but they did take a shot away from him. I thought he had 2. Ice time, still 15 minutes. Not too bad. On that first power play, not too bad. Matchup is a little bit tougher, of course, against Minnesota, but he's plus 120 for the 3 shots tonight, which I'm into it. I like it. I still think that he's a player that we need to keep an eye on for sure. And I'll be on him tomorrow too against the Blackhawks. Kaprizov, I think just quietly playing maybe I'd say like not his best hockey, but top 5 across the league right now over the last month. He's coming off the hat trick. He had gone 3 straight games without a point, but before that, he had a point in 9 straight games, and he had 8 straight games at the point, and he had 5 of those 8 games were multi-point showings from him tonight, or from him over that span. So there's actually a lot of I like the plus 155 tonight. I like Minnesota. They're playing desperate hockey. They've been playing much better since the coaching change. They are better than this Arizona team, and that top line has been lethal. So Kaprizov at plus 155 for 2 points is probably a top 10 play for me tonight. I love the odds, love the form that he's in, love the matchup. Minus 105 for an assist, I think, is pretty solid as well. And even the shots at over 3.5 at minus 130. It's a Kaprizov night, it looks like. Minus 130 over at Bet Rivers for 4 shots tonight. He has been shooting. Sometimes I watch him play and it's like, oh my goodness, this guy, he's passing it all the time. Shoot the puck. But I just feel like he's maybe it was the coaching change. Maybe he's just thinking, you know what, I'm going to just overtake these games right now. But the last few games, the shots have been significant for him. 5-3, 4-6, 4-3, 3-7, 4, 8, and 6. So he has cleared 3.5 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of his last 11. And the 3 that he didn't do it, he was at 3. And the ice time, right, is really noticeable. 22, 22, 21, 22, 21, 26, 35. There's been a big just boost in ice time. I don't know if let me take a look at the splits. I think he's still average around 20 to start the season. Yeah, he's been 22. He's in 22 minutes the past every month, basically. February, 18 points in 11 games, 3 points in 2 games here. It was, fine to start the season, point per game, but he's been over a point per game over the last couple of games, basically a month here for Kaprizov. So we're riding with Kaprizov. I'd say Boldy scores. I'll give a couple goal scores at the very end. Okay, Vegas and Vancouver. Yeah, this is a tough read. I think I saw Evan talk about that earlier, how he was unsure because both of these teams are not playing their best hockey at the moment. They're both kind of struggling. Especially, I feel like the Golden Knights. It's been tough for them. They're starting to get a little. I say they're starting to get healthier, but at the same time, they're still missing some key guys. Vancouver's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their last 9 games. They do have wins in back-to-back games, but the goals have kind of dried up, right? We talked before at the start of the season, the first 2 months of the season, if you looked at the top 12 guys in terms of shooting percentage, 8 of them were Canucks. So, we're starting to see the regression, I guess, in some of their shooters because they haven't scored. I mean, they've had 2 or fewer goals in 3 straight games. And again, like the losses have kind of piled up a little bit. There's nothing really that jumps out to me when it comes to the Canucks. If you look at Brock Besser, he's had 3+ shots in 4 of his last 5, but it is a tougher matchup. And I know when you look at natural stat trick, and I feel like this is a touch of an outlier because they played without Shea Theodore and they played without Jack Eichel for the last little bit, but I have it up now. And since February 1st, only the San Jose Sharks have allowed more shot attempts than the Vegas Golden Knights. That's really amazing because the last few years, the Golden Knights have been one of the better teams at 5-5. They're extremely stingy, but this is a decent track record. It's a sample size, rather. It's 12 games. They're 4-7-1 over those 12 games. And I mean, 72.63 shot attempts allowed at 5-5 per 60. San Jose is at 72.86. And if you look at the shots, some of those they block, right? Martinez and Pietrangelo, these guys block shots. So they're not up near San Jose in terms of allowing the shots, but they're still inside the top 10 at 31. And some of these shots have been extremely high danger. No team has allowed more scoring chances at 5-5 per 60 over the same time period. They're 34.06. The San Jose Sharks are number 2. The Rangers are number 3, by the way. High danger chances, Blues, Ducks, Sharks, and Golden Knights. So Vegas is not playing a great brand of hockey at the moment, but I do believe, the boost with Jack Eichel. I mean, the loss the other night is pretty alarming to lose in Columbus, and not just lose, get like whooped. And they got whooped against Buffalo too. They've lost 3 straight games. They've lost 6 of the last 7. They've lost 8 of their last 10 games. Both of these teams are not playing all that great right now. So it is tough for me to pick a side. I will lean with Vegas at home. Eichel back. That's the way that I'm going to lean in this game. And I do like Jack Eichel props. It was his first game. He played 1955. He had 5 shots on goal. Before he got hurt, he was shooting a lot. It was a guy that we were going to. He had 4 in this, just the 3 games before he got hurt, 4, 4, and 5. He's plus 100 for 4 shots tonight. So I do like Eichel tonight. Get his footing back at home, bit of a boost. Don't think Hanifin will play tonight. That trade came down pretty late. Not sure he'll suit up tonight. But he's also plus 110 for an assist for Eichel. I think that I talked myself into Brock Besser for 3 shots. Did I talk anybody else into Brock Besser? Is anybody else alarmed with those Vegas Golden Knights numbers? Like, only the Sharks have allowed more shot attempts than them over the last 5.5 weeks. No team has allowed more scoring chances than Vegas at 5-5 per 60. Anyone? No? Anyone curious about that at all? I think it's the injuries. I think it's Jack Eichel. He's a good defensive forward as well. Shea Theodore he's a good player. He's a good skater. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to go to Eichel, and I think I'm going to go to Brock Besser, and I wonder if we should go back to William Karlsson. Brock Besser, 2.5 shots, minus 112. I think we got to do it just from what I said with just some of the numbers. I think I've talked myself into that. Hopefully, I didn't talk myself into a loss, but here we are. As for William Karlsson, Adam, you're asking about it too, right? So we're kind of wondering the same thing. So William Karlsson, I was on it on Tuesday. We made our guy Jay do a TikTok about it, and after that, Jack Eichel returned the lineup. After the Dylan Gunther TikTok, Clayton Keller returned the lineup. Last night doing his Shane Pinto and Tarasenko was traded. It worked out in our favor. I was like, oh, that one's good. Tarasenko's gone. Maybe it's more ice time for Pinto. But I think I'm in, Adam. I'm in on this plus 104, but Eichel back, right? We know that Eichel it's more ice time, or it's less ice time for Carlson. He's still on that first power play, which is why I like it. I think if there was Stone was healthy, then Carlson's kind of the odd man out. They load up that power play with Marchessault, with probably two defensemen, and of course Eichel would be on that power play. Stone, Marchessault, and the two defensemen. But Carlson's still in that power play. A great track record here over the past few games. He's actually playing what I said in that TikTok video, and what I stressed on Tuesday is this guy is playing really good hockey this season. He's got 22 goals. He's got 22 goals on the campaign, 43 points, and he's only played 50 games. He's got goals in back-to-back games. He's got 6 goals over his last 8 games. He's got points in 7 of those 8 games. He still played 20-41 in that return with Jack Eichel. He's had at least 3 shots in 5 straight games. He's had at least 3 shots in 9 of his last 10 games. And the one game that he didn't, he was on 2. So I still think it's a good matchup. He plays in all situations. Talk with top power play and the penalty kill for him. So I will put him on the card. Eichel 4 shots, Eichel assist. I'll do a Brock and a Miller point parlay, and then Carlson for 3 shots as well. I'll probably do a Marchessault and Eichel point parlay as well. That's it. So I guess we talked. Still debating. I'm in, I guess. Die Hard MMA podcast, Hockey Psychos. What's going on? Going back to the beginning to listen to see you in the future. I love that. We talk a little bit of card breaking there as well. Troy's in the house. Blue Jackets, Clint. Oh my. That's a UFC dude, right? Goudreau for a point, minus 120 is on fire. You're not alone. I'm not alone on the game being confusing and tough to call, I think. Besser and Miller shots were on my maybe list. I don't hate a 1.5 shot on goal parlay with those two guys. Yeah, I like Brock. I like Brock a little bit more. And the track record, I guess, it's been pretty good. I bet Columbus to beat Vegas, but I bet Columbus every night as long as they're an underdog at plus 150 or better. Dude, when are they not an underdog at plus 150 or better? I'm just kidding with you. When they play the Habs, I suppose they're kind of favorites. And you know how that went. Yes, they look like garbage since Stone has been out. Yeah, I think Joel Edmondson to the Leafs doesn't move the needle for me. He was pretty good against the Leafs when they beat him in the bubble. Maybe that's part of it. And the Habs, I thought, just kind of bullied the Leafs in that playoff round. They had big defenders, right? Like Shea Weber and Sherrod and Petrie and Edmondson. They're all pretty big guys and block some shots, some experience. But Edmondson, I don't even know if this guy, he hardly plays, right? In Washington, I don't even feel like he was getting a lot of ice time with the Capitals. Yeah, a little bit more than I thought. But yeah, stay-at-home defenseman, maybe decent on the penalty kill. A little some experience there for you. Yeah, Stone has been. I mean, he hasn't been out for that long, but you're right. I mean, he's a great defensive forward, and that's part of it, I would say. Let's move on. I think we're just about done here. We still went an hour. Oh my goodness. It's got 2 more games here. Okay, Ottawa, and we went pretty long in that Vancouver game. Ottawa and LA. Fiala let me down the other day. Kevin Fiala. Man, this Senators team is so bad. You know what's going to happen tonight? Ottawa's going to win 5-1. They can't beat a Ducks team without Henrique or Terry or McTavish or Carlson. And it's not like they had a good third period. They were just absolutely pathetic throughout the whole game, basically. I don't mind going back to Fiala here, maybe for an assist at minus 115. The shots are just, you can get 3.5. It's plus 125. It's a lot to ask for. Adrian Kempe is week to week. So, you're still going to get a lot of ice time for Kevin Fiala. I think we can jump on the Kings here tonight to win in 60. I'm a little hesitant on the puck line. Cam Talbot has been playing better. I talked about that on Tuesday. I was able to pick him up off the waiver wire. Somebody dropped him. I need some help in goal, so I was fine with that pickup. We'll see how what happens for him moving forward here. But LA, can I get an in 60 total here? Minus 110. That's pretty solid. I'm going to take it. LA in 60 minus 110. I swear, man, the Sens, like, this is what Ottawa would do. Like, they would win this game on the back-to-back, like 5-1. I like Fiala. He's still pretty hot. I want to check the lines. Still got Turcotte on that top line. Yeah, I like Fiala for 4 shots, and I like Fiala for an assist. I think we should go back to Shane Pinto. This is a tougher spot for Pinto on the road against the Kings. He only had 1 shot after 40 minutes last night, but then he had 4 in the third period. The ice time is there for him. We're getting a good price at -105 over at DraftKings, and he has cleared 2.5 shots in 1, 2, 3 of his last 4, and 6 of his last 8. So he's looking pretty good as well, like 16 points in 19 games, right? No Josh Norris, no Tarasenko. So it's either first line or second line. I do believe he got bumped off that first power play, but he's still getting a ton of ice time there. I like the Kings in 60. And then the final game of the night is in San Jose. Leaving, go Sharks. Man, they've been hanging around with some teams. I know that. What a comeback from Dallas the other night. I mean, I had Dallas in the puck line, but also had a bunch of other things that worked out for me well in that game. And watching it, the process always seems right to pick on the Sharks because there was 4 minutes left in the second period, and Dallas had 9 minutes of ozone time, which means they had possession of the puck in San Jose's end for 9 minutes, 9 of the first 40 minutes of a hockey game. That is significant. That's like you playing your 4-year-old nephew in NHL 24, and he's never played the game before, and you were just dummying him in the offensive zone. You're cycling around, you're trying behind the back, all this stuff. That's what was happening in that game. And that's what happens most times when I watch the San Jose Sharks play. But the problem is, like, Vegas is aware of it. So they're aware of absolutely everything. Like the shots are juiced, the points are juiced, but it doesn't stop me from having some fun here. I think everybody's at Bo Horvat's at 2.5 -180. I would just do some sort of same game parlay with these guys or include them into a parlay for somebody else that's juiced. Roslovic, I saw at 1.5. If you can't get Jack Roslovic at 2.5, maybe you take Jack Roslovic at 1.5 and you put Bo Horvat on there. Like, Horvat is actually my favorite of the 3 when I include Nelson and Barzell in the conversation, but he's -175 is the best I'm seeing. I do see some value on the assist for Bo, +110 for an Apple. That's pretty decent. Let me just check what the Islanders got going on here. I'm not gonna lie, didn't dive into this game too much just yet, so we'll do it on the fly. Walk through the process. They still load up the top line, Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson, and Matthew Barzell there. So I think all these guys are definitely in play for like 3 or 4 shots, and maybe even like some sort of 2-point night for them. If you include them all for a point, it's +145. If you include them all for a 2-point night, it's 14-1. Noah Dobson's pretty interesting. Oh, yeah, Kyle Palmieri. That's the guy that we probably can get the best odds for. We talked about 2.5 shots for him the other day, and he did hit, and it is a good price. So Kyle Palmieri, -135 DK. It's probably the best play on the board, to be honest with you. And then Bo Horvat assist. And then I'm going to do some same game parlay stuff there. I'll probably take the top line, as I mentioned, +140. Or sorry, +145, and then the top line for a 2-point night at 14-1, and just I don't know, all 3 of these guys to have 3 shots. Maybe we can put Palmieri in there, +550 for all those guys to have 3 shots. They're gonna shoot the puck. I know the Sharks have been playing pretty good, but I'd like the Islanders here tonight. I may even do puck line at +100. What's the in 60s? Probably a little bit too juiced. -155 for them to win in 60 is not too bad. As long as it's Sorokin. One guy that I will throw out there for the Sharks is Anthony Duclair. Man, this guy's playing really good hockey. He could get traded today. I would expect him to be traded before tomorrow's deadline. And he's a good player anyways. And there's no question that the Sharks are going to move on from him and sell high. He's got 5 goals in his last 4 games. He's had a 4-point night against Dallas, 2 goals and 4 points. Man, what's he for 3 shots? This is a pretty good play too. I just have a feeling he's going to get traded today. So I don't know. Maybe you wait this one out. It's late night action. Hopefully we had a couple winners in the early slate, and then you want some late night action and have some fun with this one. The odds won't change too much. He's plus 120 at DraftKings for 3 shots. He's minus 105 for a point. I'd rather go the shot route. Sorokin does scare me. The Islanders still give up a lot of rubber, but Sorokin does scare me, right? He could have a 55 save shutout against anybody in the league, and the Sharks don't score a lot of goals. So they have lately. 6 goals in their last game, 6, 3, 2, and 4. They've been scoring some goals, but they've been losing some hockey games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses in a row, and they're giving up some goals, man. 7 goals, 4 goals, 6 goals, 7 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals. They've been giving up a lot of goals. So the Islanders should take care of them tonight. More desperate team, more to play for. That top line should have a lot of success tonight. Palmieri, yes, let's go. Back on Pinto tonight. Islanders made a trade. Did they make a trade? I don't know. Is there another trade that's happening here? Caps are getting Islanders 2024 third round pick and the Hawks 2025 fifth round pick. That's for the Edmondson trade. Is that what we're doing? Sprinkle on Sorokin shutout. It's not bad. What are the odds on that? I bet on a shutout once this year. I'm not seeing anything. It's probably 9-1, which doesn't seem all that great, to be honest, but I bet you it's at 365. Let's see. Not seeing anything yet for Sorokin. There's probably just have to wait until the goalie is confirmed. Yeah. Yeah. 9-1, basically. Not confirmed, but I like it at plus 850 versus the Sharks. Can always get behind that. All right. Okay, we did it. We wrapped up. I think I got to sneeze. We're going to wrap here with the top plays. Okay, with the hour-minute mark and the top plays here for tonight. So, all right, this is what I got here for my top plays. Leon Draisaitl for 2 points. Again, that one is at plus 125. I believe it's over at BetMGM. And I also like Connor McDavid for 2 points. Draisaitl, 8 of his last 12 games, he's had 2 points. McDavid, 10 of his last 12 games, he's had 2 points. I also like the Edmonton Oilers on the puck line. Sorry, Troy. Oilers roll. Inside that same game, I do like Jack Roslovic. It's not a top 5 pick for me tonight, but it's a top 10 pick. I think, he's got 3 shots in 7 straight games. He's got points in 9 of his last 11. He's got points in 12 of his last 11. And he's plus 183 over at FanDuel tonight to pick up 3 shots. So, I mean, the ice time is there. I'm a fan of that one. Jack Hughes, let's get it out of the way. Jack Hughes over 4.5 shots, minus 130 over at Bet Rivers. He's cleared 4.5 shots in 9 of his last 13 games. Philip Forsberg over 3.5 shots, minus 135 over at DraftKings. Philip Forsberg has cleared 3.5 shots in 5 of his past 7 games. Also like Gustav Nyquist for a point inside that same game, minus 135 over at DraftKings. Sam Bennett over 2.5 shots, minus 110. Florida Panthers, Sam Bennett. He's cleared 2.5 shots in 5 of his last 7. Vladimir Tarasenko for a point. Looks like he's going to play up on that top line with Barkov and Sam Reinhart. He is minus 105 for a point. He's plus 180 for an assist. A decent little long shot there for you. Braden Point, 2.5 shots, minus 136 over at Bet Rivers against the Calgary Flames, who have got to feel a little deflated here this morning, losing more pieces on their squad. Braden Point has a point in 9 straight games, and he has at least 3 shots in 9 of his last 11. If there's no Markstrom, I'm going to be taking 2 points for Braden Point. Owen Tippett, 4+ shots tonight, plus money. Plus 120 over at Bet Rivers. He has cleared 3.5 shots in 8 of his last 11. 2 games over that span, he has at least 10 shots on goal. Alex Ovechkin against Sid the Kid and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Plus 100 over at DraftKings for 4 shots. Ovechkin has had 4 shots in 5 of his last 7. He's got 15 shots on goal and 23 attempts over his last 3 games, shooting the puck a lot. Andrei Svechnikov, he's got points in 7 of his last 8 games. He's got at least 3 shots in 4 straight games. I like Svechnikov for 3 shots, and I like Sebastian Aho for an assist at minus 130. I think we saw from our guy Adam. I also like Sebastian Aho for 2 points at plus 155. This guy owns the Montreal Canadiens, and Cole Caulfield inside that same game for 4 shots, consistently hitting. He's hitting 15 of his last 18 games and he's needed 4 shots in those 18 games, and he's done it 15 times, plus money for Cole Caulfield for 4 shots tonight. I think that's it. I think that's all I have for like my top plays. There's definitely some secondary plays here that I like. For example, Evan Bouchard for a point at -150 or for an assist at +100 is something that I can get behind. Timo Meyer for a point I like at -140 at DraftKings. A little bit juicy, but I do like it. He's feeling himself at the moment. Pavel Zacha for a point at +105. David Pastrnak for 5 shots at DraftKings at -110. Oh, yeah, Kirill the Thrill, dollar bill, Kaprizov. I do like Kaprizov quite a bit here for 2 points at +155, for an assist at -105, for 4 shots at -130. I'd rank them shots -130 for 4, the assist at -105, and it's still a full unit play. All these plays are the +155. If you wanted to go down to 0.5 units on that one at +155, don't mind that one. Jack Eichel for 4 shots at +100. And we got Kyle Palmieri for 3 shots at -135. And we have William Karlsson for 3 shots at plus money as well. Whew, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like I'm trying to like narrow this down for people that maybe just tune in the last 5 minutes of the show for picks and they just want 5 picks. I would say the Oiler boys, Draisaitl, McDavid for 2 points. Then I would go to Jack Hughes. Then I would go to Braden Point, then Philip Forsberg, and then Sveshnikov. That's kind of like, that would be my card of like 5 to 7 plays. But everything I gave you, I'll be betting. It's just kind of how we roll here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. FTN Hoops, 35% off over at ftnbets.com. You get all the picks. Discord is awesome. It's lit. Great conversations and all picks across all sports from everybody. MLB, college basketball, NBA. Everything. March Madness, I mean, Selection Sundays in 10 days, St. Patty's Day. So it was a lot of picks there, and DFS as well. For sides, let's do a couple sides here. Man, it's a lot of games. Okay, Edmonton on the puck line. Edmonton to win by 2 goals tonight on the puck line. Not great odds here for Carolina in 60. I do feel like, you know what? Give me Carolina on the puck line. I know the Habs. I've talked about the Habs hanging around in a lot of games all year long. Of late, Montembeault really good, but Carolina's their kryptonite. They can't beat them. They can't beat them in Carolina. So Oilers and Hurricanes puck line plays for me tonight. I like the LA Kings in 60. I also like the Islanders on the puck line tonight. So there are 3 puck line plays here, but they're not juicy. You get some decent odds there for the Oilers, the Hurricanes, and the Islanders. I like the Kings in 60, as I mentioned. I like Tampa. What's the odds? -149. That seems too good to be true. -150. I like Tampa on the money line. -150 over at BetMGM. Panthers are just too juiced to take. Philly may hang around in that game. So those are the sides that I like. And then goal scorers tonight. I'll give you 5. EY give you 100. I'll give you 5. 5 goal scorers tonight. Leon Draisaitl, there's 1. A little chalky. Kirill Kaprizov, there's 2. Also a little chalky. Sebastian Aho. Aho or Sveshnikov. Like these guys are going to be in on the score sheet tonight. I'll go with Aho. So Draisaitl, Kaprizov, Sebastian Aho. I like Kevin Fiala for the Kings against the Senators. And I will go with Bo Horvat. I also think Kyle Palmieri is in play, but I'll go with Bo Horvat there. So there's 5. I think taking a shot on Tarasenko first game, playing with just really good players, be a little giddy up in his step potentially. I think Tarasenko is a decent little long shot there for a goal. I think Pavel Zacha is a decent little long shot for the Bruins for a goal. Braden Point, I just feel like Braden Point's going to have a good night against the Flames. Now we're just saying things, so we'll leave it at those 5 goals. Matt Boldy would be the other one that I'll chuck in there against the Wild. Matt Boldy. All right, I think we did it. Aho 2 points. I'm with you. +155, man. I think this guy just lights it up. Panthers extend Gustav Forsling 8 years, $5.75 million. It's a really good defenseman, man. He's an underrated defenseman, and this is exactly what I want to hear. Tarasenko +180 for the assist, -105 for a point tonight, playing with Barkov and Reinhart. I get it. The Flyers are good, but the Panthers are even better. Kessel expected to sign with the Vancouver Canucks. Phil, the thrill. Kessel. Interesting. Okay. I mean, it doesn't move the needle for me at all, right? But, maybe you put him on the third line with Lindholm, right? Got to get Lindholm going. He didn't really play for the Golden Knights in the playoff run, but he could help out a second power play. He can play on third, fourth line, play a couple minutes here and there. Still has a little bit there. Upset of the night. Upset of the night. And it might be the Blues. Might be the Blues against the Devils at plus 147. I do have a feeling about the Leafs, but that's not a massive upset. Let's go with the Blues. Let's go with the Blues there, daily handle. I think that's going to be the upset. I mean, the Devils are just not playing good hockey. My Blues are kind of hanging around, getting some decent goaltending, much better goaltending than the New Jersey. So maybe they can pull off the upset. That would be my upset pick of the night tonight. Okay, we got to get out of here. We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll recap the trade deadline. We'll take a look at Cup futures, but I still really feel the Florida Panthers. I still really feel the Dallas Stars. I think those are the two teams that I like a lot. I think the West will be a little bit tougher of a run. Like Colorado improved, I thought, yesterday with Middlestat. I think Vegas definitely, right? The defending Cup champs are going to be healthy at the time the playoffs do begin. Adding Noah Hannafin, they still got roughly $3.5 million and a lot of picks to assets to ship off. They still have a lot of their picks, like a couple firsts, a couple seconds and thirds. The condition in the Noah Hannafin deal is a 2025 first, unless they trade it. It becomes a 2026. So in the back of my head, it's like, dude, these guys want to trade that pick, whether it's next year or this year for another asset or two. I mean, like Jake Gensel, like, oh my goodness. So it's a little bit of a tougher path in the West. In the East, I think that it's Florida. I really like Florida. I think the Hurricanes need to do something else, and I think other teams like the Rangers need to do something else. And then there's just a lot of consistency there. I'm not believing in the Leafs. Don't really believe in the Bruins or the Lightning. And the Flyers they'll be a tough out, but they're not. I don't think they're going to go on a significant run. But we'll be back on Tuesday to break it all down. Some of the trades, and we'll break open that hobby box there for you guys as well. All right, good luck on the ice. Check out ftmbets.com. We have the article up with a few more plays and some long shot stuff in there as well. Appreciate you guys taking the time out, riding solo with you for the hour, and you guys hung around the whole time. So appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. Cheers.